listening to my remix of Moonchild, and this, as you can see, has been produced in Ableton Live 10. And one of the things that I do sometimes is to put the video so that I can get a vibe, you know, see how this thing feels. So I stretched the video, you can see it running in the background, and I built the musical elements around it. There's actually quite a lot of the original here. And once again, the challenge is to try to blend those original elements with the new compositional parts. So I'm going to stop that. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Once again, I don't know if you guys are getting bored of this, but Wave Alchemy Evolution for the drums. Okay, so this has got a real kind of subtle vibe. I'm going to solo these, and I wanted this to be quite relaxed. The original version that I did was actually quite kind of banging, really, and I just reconsidered it. I felt that just really didn't suit the mood. Okay, so let's have a listen to the drums on their own. So all of those drum sounds are coming from the Evolution. Programming is here. So once again, I programmed the beats in the plugin and then dragged these over. And that's something that I've been doing at speed, you know, in quite a few of these remixes I've worked in that way. And I've told you about that particular workflow on another video. Now, the other thing that's going on here, now this is a really interesting one. I'm going to tell you a little story about this. So listen to these congas. I'm going to zoom in. Now, there's a certain texture, first, before I get onto that story, there's a certain texture that's coming from these because I've got the Eventide Ultra channel running. And I was lucky enough to get this as a freebie when they were doing some kind of promotion a while back. So look, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to turn it on. So I'm using it mainly for this stereo width enhancement, and it sounds really good. Now, here's the story, right? So the congas, I could have gone into the library and found some conga loops, or I could have programmed some stuff. But what I did actually was I went into Logic Pro 10, and there is a percussion player in there. So they've got these, you've probably seen it, they've got these live drummers, and they've added to the list some percussionists. And so I went in there and I got the percussionist and I tweaked things around and put a bit of humanize on there so that it actually evolves, and it came out fantastic. So that's a real handy tool to use. And if it wasn't for Logic Pro 10, these congas just would not exist, and it wouldn't sound as good. So thank you, Logic Pro 10. Let's have a listen. So let me show you what I've done with Moonchild. There's a number of different things. There's EQ here. I took a little cut at 89.9 Hertz. And that was because, you know, I've got my own elements going on. I did another chop after, actually, at 79. So I was just fishing around, you know, that technique where you boost the gain and go up and down the frequencies to try and pick out something. It felt like it was clashing with the rest of my elements. There's a little bit of compression overall here. That's just to gel things, and that's because at a certain point there is filter movement. So I've got here the Filter Freak, you know, from Sound Toys, and this is being used as a low pass filter, and that's at the beginning. You know, once again, I had a piece of music that was designed for listening in its own context. The original context was the original tempo and the original duration. But of course, with a club mix, you want to extend stuff. So there is some looping going on. And when the looping is occurring, there is filtering. So you can see this cut up looping, and you'll see that on the video too. Look. So the video loops. Filter frequency is coming up. It's got a real warm character to it, this filter. I love it. And you can see it's coming up. So what I did to deal with the different volume fluctuations through the filter opening was to put this glue compressor on there. One thing about the stretch mode that I used the Complex Pro, okay? And I tweaked the parameters. So I ended up using formant value of 85.16 and envelope of 27. That was after a lot of fine tuning. So I wanted to keep the quality of the original and speed it up. I didn't want to go too fast. I've gone to 117 BPM, which felt like a nice kind of sensible amount. I did try it faster. It sounded a little bit silly. So 117 is relatively slow for house, but I feel I had to be sympathetic to the song because this is like one of my favorite bands. I love Moonchild, and I've got to be respectful to them. I mean, this is ultimately it's a bootleg mix. It's not anything that has been officially sanctioned, and really, am I allowed to put it up on here? I don't know, but this is just for educational use. Okay, so hopefully they'll allow me to do so. Make sure you go and listen to their music and buy it, support them. Amazing band. Anyway, so let's keep going. Shaker comes in here. And that's a loop. It's got that nice organic vibe. Dropping the drums here just to add some extra impact to when the chorus comes in. And the other thing that I added was these strings. And if you've been watching my other videos recently, you'll probably take a guess. Yeah, there it is. It's the Contact library. They sound great. They sound really good. And earlier, there are some other strings. Here we go. Cellos. And a high string. So these are all programmed in. All of these, the Contact orchestral library. So, I'm really letting the original song breathe here. I'm not trying to smother it with stuff. It's always very difficult to get that balance of adding something new and keeping the integrity of the original. I love the way that Amber's always smiling when she's singing. There's a real good vibe coming from these guys. You have to check out her solo stuff as well as Amber Navran, I think it is. I'll put some links down below so you guys can check it out. So yeah, we're coming up. This could be the final chorus. Strings in here. All of these string elements basically building up whilst their stuff's building up too. And whilst I'm here, because you've seen most of these compositional elements, this time for the bus compression we've got the Slate Digital, and this is the FG Red. Okay, so I think it's based on a Focusrite bus compressor. Abbey Road, you know the drill. L2 also. Also on this one I was very careful about not bringing that threshold down too low. When I did, it ended up really kind of distorting, so I had to be really careful with that. Right, filter now. Love that. There's a real nice vibe to that. And then the beats come back. And we're in that world where literally it's just looping. This is ready for the DJ. And this really does feel like a bit of an end of the night kind of mix. This is definitely not a peak time vibe. So this is like when the night is finished, last song or something, everyone can sing along and then get super frightened when the lights come on. So that's it. If you like this kind of thing, please subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, give me a shout in the comments below.